Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another week of the Collegiate Esports Association Overwatch Tournament. I'm Big Hungry Phil, and joining me today, as always, is Man of Class. Just before we get started, I want to extend a big thank you to Bullskunk for covering last week whilst I was otherwise incapacitated. If you've not already, go and give him some love on Twitter and thank him for bridging the gap. Now, back to tonight. Man of Class, what have we got on the docket?
We've got Ezoic's OverEZ versus Experis Game Solutions' Experi-Mental team. Both these teams are in a precarious position. I would say precarious because it's not really risky in any way. They are both 1-4 currently in the standings, meaning they really cannot qualify for the actual playoffs anymore. But they're still going to be able to play for just for the sake of playing. That's what we're also about, because we want to facilitate everybody coming together. But that does mean that today it doesn't really have any stakes. There's not really anything on the line today other than pride and joy, because joy is always on the line. And we'll see what these teams bring us today as they face off.
Yeah, that's right. These teams are in what is euphemistically being called the consolation group, playing for enjoyment, publication of their own company, and their charities of choice. And let's not beat about the bush. There is a reason these guys are not in the risk of being up in playoffs. That's because they are some of our lower SR teams. But all told, we're looking at two teams that should be fairly well matched here. So whilst this might not be the tippity top tier of Overwatch, it should still be a pretty good, consistent match that has the potential to go the distance, I feel.
Yeah, it definitely should. I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring out to us, because even though they're both 1-4, they're still both 1-4. So that means they are, according to their records, relatively evenly matched. When we look at their team sheets, there aren't really a lot of substitutes. So we're going to probably be seeing most of the same players the entire evening, which is definitely something I'm looking forward to. The consistency of roster, seeing how they adapt with that without having to switch players in and out. And that can always lead to surprising factors and surprising outcomes. And most of all, can lead to more experimentation within the same six instead of having to switch a player out for specific heroes.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Classy, but this is one of my favorite things about casting CEA is, not to brag, but we do get to cast some pretty high level Overwatch stuff, the two of us.
At times we do.
And at that level, people are playing because they want the plaudits, they want to go pro, etc. Down here, people are playing for fun. So you get to see stuff that you will never see at the highest level. We've seen Farah Genji comps, we've seen all manner of things here that can be a little bit chaotic, but usually pretty good fun. And that's one of the reasons why I'm always happy when we get team matchups like this in the docket, where we can just see some crazy stuff coming out. So hopefully that's what we're going to get from OverEZ and Experi-Mental today.
Well, I mean, and you say that right now, Phil. Unfortunately, there's also the Experi-Mental card tournament going on for the Overwatch League. So maybe there's some crazy things going on there as well, but it's not the same because they will still try, metagame everything, try and find the best thing within that crazy patch. We're just gonna get the regular patch, but gonna be doing crazy things with the status quo, and that's what we're really excited about. Of course, I see a Torbjorn icon in the lobby, for instance. Not gonna call out that we're gonna get a Torbjorn, but I would like to see it.
Wouldn't surprise me, and certainly would be a nice addition. And maybe I'll try and talk to our TO during the breaks, because this is it's a low stakes game. Okay, not a lot of meat involved. Why not? If we get to map 5, maybe we'll jump onto the Experi-Mental patch and have a bit of a play around with the 2-turret Torb action.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it. But then again, any match where there's even one Torb turret is already a joy to behold. It looks like we're going to be going to Busan as the first map. Busan, of course, a control point. Control points famously and notoriously known for the whole system where, you kind of get one fight, and then after that you're playing catch up, or you're playing, stay ahead. And we'll see if it actually goes out that way, because again, that's a very organized method, and we might not actually get that today. But yeah, that chaos and that back and forth play could really bring some joy to the table today for both of these teams. And again, I just cannot wait to get into these games, because we can theorize all we want, Phil, but in the end, these teams keep surprising us.
They do, and I think one of the other things that we could probably look at a little bit here whilst we're waiting for our teams to get into the match and actually start playing is these are not teams that are going to have been like deep in the weeds here of like VOD reviewing their opponents and strategies and counter strategies. So at the minute, my assumption is OverEZ and Experi-Mental don't really know a lot about each other. They've not, as teams, competed at the same time in CEA for a little while now, so this is a relatively unknown quantity. So we are hopefully going to see a little bit of evolution over the course of, at the very least, Busan, where the teams are going to come out with their preferred choice here and then be forced to swap after they lose that first fight. And we get to see a little bit of that conversation in team comp over the course of the map. So that should be good fun to watch as well, on top of just the general action.
Yeah, of course. Well, looks like we're going to be getting ready to go into the map any second now. Just checking if the teams are
just
ready.
Keeping you on
just had
tenterhooks.
someone. It's how it works, you know. Sometimes teams they like everything is ready, and then someone's internet drops out, or someone rings the doorbell somewhere. People have lives, and that's the beautiful thing about CEA. It's just the run of the mill. Everyone has their weekend going on, and then you just play a game. It's the same thing when you're on a sports team with with anybody really. It's not about the professional gear. It's an amateur competition. That's how it works. So we're going to be seeing where these teams are going to be taking us. Looks like it's going to be downtown first on Busan. Nice and open. A lot of dive potential. But it's also seen plenty of teams go for more of the shieldy, brawly rush options. And I'm happy either way. I mean, the biggest thing we always want to see is snipers, but they're a bit hard to pull off these days.
And of course, you tend to see a very well correlated increase in the capacity of a sniper to get work done and SR. Again, not the be all end all, but maybe teams here that we wouldn't expect to be running very sniper dependent compositions. If we just look at what's currently being hovered over in Spawn, we do have Bad Babe Gabe currently on the Hanzo and Ursat's sniper, not like your Widowmaker or your Ash. So some of that online here, but expect a little bit more shield break play here from the Hanzo.
You can still see that meta creep is still coming through a little bit. We do see the Reinhardts and the Lucios, even the Baptistas coming out, but it's still flexible enough that we're going to have an enjoyable time here. They're out of the gates quick with their speed boosts. They're going to be clashing on that center area in front of the International Theater.
Well, early Sonic arrow out from Bad Babe Gabe fails to find out any information, and Experi-Mental to make the rotation up onto the high ground, but have given over effectively the defensive position to take up the offensive position. Being that OverEZ got to defend here. Jump Gate 17 finds the first pick. It's Amethysia down already. It was a big nade there, connecting onto a couple of players on OverEZ. Second kill of the day coming through. Reldnak gets his opposite number. Happy now out of the fight. Arizona Ron down, and that's going to be OverEZ with the cap. And Bad Babe Gabe with a quick double to round out the fight.
OverEZ making a very good start here, making sure that they take control of the position on the point first. A lot of the time you'll see this, one team goes on the objective, then the other one tries to retake it. In this case, there is actually a very good high ground position you can just drop on the enemy team with, disrupt their movement. That's not really what they were going for on the other side, and they were just fighting from a disadvantaged position the entire time.
Rotation in via the train track side of the map means that Bad Babe Gabe was denied some of those sight lines, but they still have the high ground position, and it's an early shatter out from Redknack. Finds two. We will see Morsikin go down to the passive mines from the Junkrat Nissel with the reset, but that was very economically done there for OverEZ.
I mean, if you get 6 kills or at least a team wipe with one shatter, that's exactly what you want to get. And now they're going to be having almost all of their other ultimates online. Good thing, though, for the other side, they have them too. So they'll be able to have a fairly even fight as long as they stall it a little bit more and charge them up.
We're looking at potentially a Graviton surge being countered here by a sound barrier. Pin connects. Reldnak gets 80% of the shatter online and climbing. Falls down to Amethysia, but they've won this team fight and they are still getting some exit kills here. So whilst there is a small window for Experi-Mental, OverEZ will be back at full strength soon.
They're going to be seeing OverEZ come up over this point control. It's a tough one. I mean, Wormbot swaps over to the Sombra here, but it needs to be a neutral hack. They might try and go for the hack shatter.
Well, they've already got that out. Reldnak's manually hacked. Ooh, big Riptide from Amethysia finds 3. We will have Mason commit the ultimate, find 2 with the self-destruct. Jumpgate 17 finds 1 as well here, but there was just enough point presence here from Experi-Mental to get themselves onto the point and secure the cap. I mean, that's pretty good going from Jumpgate 17. It's down to just twice. Crispy, there's the charge coming through from Reldnak. Might have overcooked that one. No, he just stays alive. But now, OverEZ back at full strength on the point. Shadow comes out. Believe that all went into the shield. So nothing on the back of that one, but the flip comes through. And now, if Bad Babe Gabe and what is left for OverEZ can start to find a few more picks here, this is going to be their point. Nissel down, Bad Babe Gabe there with the Stormbow. Finds a couple, will have the Dragon online shortly. Might not need to use it here. There is the Wrecking Ball on the points. There's the Dragon. Just clips Amethysia, and Amethysia goes down. Overtime ticks over, and OverEZ with the first point on Busan.
Do get that 100 to 22. Would have been 100 to 0 if they had almost gotten that. Well, they almost got it back basically after the 3 kill. The tire and the combination with that Shatter or that Graviton was really good. Then that self-destruct and High Noon almost pulling it back. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite capitalize on that. They give up a few percent, but never looked really in trouble. We're going to see if that's different on this point. There is a little bit of a geographical and geometrical difference here to this one. We'll see if that actually, again, if it makes a difference. I don't know. Experi-Mental looked like they had a plan going into that, but they did swap up a few heroes. Again, it's kind of the sad part or the difficult part about control. Once you have the wrong heroes going out on the first fight, it's rare that you'll be able to fight it back with different heroes if you have to swap them up late. Wormbot will start on the Sombra this time around, and Amethysia will go over to the Ashe. I'm liking it. The Bob, the EMP, they're good ultimates, and in general, the heroes can provide a lot of value, but you do need to charge those EMPs up, especially if you're Wormbot.
And I think disrupting Reldnak's going to be a real big part of this game plan here, because Reldnak has been a very prominent frontline tank. And there's Happy down already. There is a big anti-nade in effect. Mason and Arizona Ron both at the victim at the mercy of that one, but able to rotate out of the way and survive through it. Now they can as well start closing the distance. Arizona Ron peppering in the damage, and it's Reldnak with a big charge, takes Deadfish out of the fight, and it's looking good here for another early cap from OverEZ. Reldnak getting focused, though, down to 0 HP, not the number you really want there. They will find the flip, and now they can start building over capture progress, and if Happy's not careful here, he's going to be a long way from Happy. Taking a lot of damage, there's the rundown, and just threw 550 HP at that fight for no good reason.
You really, really wanted Happy to touch that point a little bit sooner. Unfortunately, couldn't get there, and that meant that flip went over. Now 20% and counting. Not a huge disaster. Both teams building up a fair bit of ult charge. Wormbot is switching again, though. That Sombra apparently not working out. Didn't have a lot of ult percentage, so not giving up a lot. And that Reaper, it can be a very, very useful and very effective hero, but they do need to get close. You need to get in the face of the enemy in order to get the maximum value. It's going to be a bit easier, a mid-range. It's not quite as easy as you want it to be.
Yeah, very dichotomous here. You need to be sneaky or incredibly obvious. We'll see the self-destruct with the shatter combo. There's 2. Happy and a Deadfish down and out. Oh, and we're just going to chuck some ults at this, are we? We get the sound barrier and the High Noon. And, you know, pretty dominant team fight win. We got the team fight kill Bell, but now they've only got that one ult in the next fight.
They do. I mean, both teams only got that one ultimate. Actually, Bad Babe Gabe almost got that bop ready. So that Shatter might be all that Happy has to work with. Maybe Amethysia can get it online on time, but they have to have these longer fights. Fights have been relatively short between these teams because those kills just come out so quickly.
Ooh, charge and counter charge, but Reldnak maybe went a little bit deep. His team was there to back him up, pushing forward with him and helping him through the kill onto Happy, and now both tanks offline for Experi-Mental. Mason dives through. Defense matrix not needed. It is full offense right now from Mason, and Wormbot in trouble on the run. Mason needs to be careful, though, because that is a lot of damage out of those Hellfire shotguns, and without the defense matrix, you are a big target, but it's 98%, and I don't think Experi-Mental are going to touch. That was very clean from OverEZ.
OverEZ just shows them the door, their own spawn door, to be precise. It's only map 1, but it looked like a little bit of a difference between these two teams so far. We'll be seeing whether that continues in the next map. A big problem, of course, again, it is control. You have to swap up these heroes. You might not be used to these type of geometries. Some teams are just not that great at this game mode. So we're not drawing conclusions just yet.
No.
But if you see things like this happening, where they have the luxury for Jump Gate 17 to pull out an ultimate like that in that fight, and it's not being punished later, that does feel a little bit a bit problematic. That being said, of course, we're done with control for a little bit, so they can definitely pull it back on other map types.
We played here. This is, of course, first to 3. And very difficult a lot of times, particularly when the SR range is close, and even more so when the SR range is low, to predict overall performance just off the back of a control map. So as we move into our next map, we'll be looking to see what adaptations Experi-Mental are able to make to better support their playstyle. I think, for me, the biggest comparison so far has to be in how the tank lineups are measuring up, because I feel like Reldnak is playing a lot more of that style of Reinhardt, where you just get up in people's faces and do your best to put your team on your back. And so I wonder if we're going to have to see a little more adaptation to play in an aggressive style to match that, or if we just see Reldnak continuing to steamroller through.
Yeah, the possibilities are, I wouldn't say endless, but there definitely
there are some
a few possibilities. So we're definitely getting at least more than one. Yeah, of course, we're going to Escort next. Escort, fair few maps that are available for us to be picked. Let's see which map they're going to go for. Because, of course, it will be Experi-Mental's choice either for the map or for the side they want to start on. And OverEZ gets the thing that's left to pick. And Experi-Mental, I mean, they're making that choice. They're making sure that they get the right map under their belt. So looking at their playstyle, they don't really want to play those longer range hit scans.
No.
There wasn't really, I mean, there was an Ashe coming out at some point, but that McCree, for instance, was never picked up. They might benefit more from a more open or rather enclosed space. You know, you could say Kings Row is a brilliant map. It's not an escort map. So when I look at that team, I'm thinking, you know, maybe a map like Dorado. I mean, it has some high grounds here and there, but almost all escort maps just lend themselves very well to ranged hit scan. Almost all of them really, really do. Maybe not for the entire map, but definitely for stages of it.
It's, I think. Oh, do you know what, Manaclass? I'm doing too many things at once. I'm trying to read notes from the producer, and I just completely forgot my point there. But it looks like our teams are still taking a little while to figure out what map they are going to be going to here. So we might struggle a little bit to theory craft until we know exactly where they're going to take us.
Yeah, well, at least they know which map type they're going to take us to. There was a bit of confusion there, so we got that going, and looks like they're going to go for Junkertown.
Okay,
definitely a map that makes sense. You know, if you want to do some more stranger strats, if you want to think outside of the box a little bit, Junkertown is probably the map you want to go for in the escort land. And you know, might even see a Bastion strat come out at these levels of play. That's often something teams will do, and teams will actually struggle getting dislodged from that payload. Maybe both teams will do it, and we get a lot of pirate ships today, and we might actually be talking in a pirate accent later on.
Well, okay. Look, if it goes to more than 3-3, so if we go like more than once through the map, I will, as a promise, cast at least part of that second time through in a pirate accent. So there we go, guys.
So around 5 and 6.
In the world.
That's what
rounds
we're going
5
for.
And 6. Yeah,
around 5 and 6. Yeah, I'm all for it. Was not gonna make him do it yet, and if you don't do it, we'll make you walk the plank. That's how that goes, Phil. But Junkertown is gonna be the place. OverEZ picks defense. That's a very logical choice to do. I mean, they're already on that side, so they don't have to switch. And we're gonna get into the map as soon as we're ready. Like I said, I mean, there is a possibility to play some longer range hit scan here, Widowmakers, Ashes, McCrees, but there's also a lot of potential to play more in the enclosed areas. You can hide from snipers decently well on most stages of the map, and you can set yourself up for success by blocking their sight lines very well. Whether they're going to be able to do that, that's another question, but flankers are definitely more effective on Junkertown than on some other escort maps.
Absolutely. It's got a lot to do with how much of a wide open space that first big long drag through point A of Junkertown is, because you know it's the biggest skybox in the game. It's the least the word I want. It's the least obstructed set of sightlines in the game. You can set up in a dozen or so different positions to snipe, and similarly, because it has all the sniper positions, because it has the freestanding buildings there, it gives you a bunch of different flank routes. So plenty of stuff to be going on with both of these teams. We've not really seen any flankers come out so far today. Arguably, maybe the Sombra, although the way that you play the Sombra is less of a flanker assassin and more of a flanker utility, so it's less sort of solo play. And so we don't really know if that plays into their skill set yet. But, you know, we may see the Genji, we may see the Tracer. Hell, we may even see the Doomfist, as rare as that's been recently.
We definitely could, and it's all about where on the map are they at this stage, you know? Because the first point, while it is indeed more open, like you were alluding to, it's really about how you get through the rest of the map, and if you get there, how you get there, you know, what the enemy is running. There's a lot of counter picking going on this map in particular a lot of the time, and we'll see where they end up doing so. But it looks like we're going to be ready to go into the map, Phil. Junkertown, it's going to happen. Experimental versus OverEZ. OverEZ leading 1-0. Starting on the defense, and Experimental trying to get that draw.
Yeah, so for OverEZ here, they're going to be looking to solidify that lead and put themselves at match point. Experimental wanting to put that first point on the board and stop the potential sweep before it can happen. Again, looking at the SR ranges for these two teams, we really are expecting them to be able to really give a bit of a challenge to each other here. So I'd love to see OverEZ really pushed on this map. And given that it is Experimental's map pick, presumably they have a game plan for this. They have something that works particularly in their favor, this one, that they want to bring out. And I'm hopeful we should get to see what that is shortly. Of course, with OverEZ starting on the defense, we will get to see what their composition is first off. And it looks like we are about ready to go.
Interestingly enough, OverEZ so far showing us a dive composition. We're going to get a Winston, the D.Va, and, well, I mean, the rest aren't really necessarily dive heroes. Hanzo and Lucio have often been spaced into it. Baptiste can fit with it, and McCree is sort of fits into anywhere you really want to put him. So it works as a dive composition, but it's also a bit questionable because this map being so open, you kind of want to have a lot of time those extra barriers to help you out, more of a blockage rather than a, well, I jump at you type of strategy. So we'll see how well Reldnak and Mason are able to actually play that dive, because it's not been very successful historically, I'd say.
No, a lot of pressure on Bad Babe Gabe to really follow up on the dive. So we see Reldnak and Mason jump in, cause chaos, and open up some room for Bad Babe Gabe to actually get some shots in. Let's see if they can make that happen, because they are now having to play into a double barrier composition, which is going to make this very tricky. And Morsakin is already down and out. This might be a full-on reset required here from OverEZ. Experimental arguably coming out with a much better pick.
They really are. I mean, don't want to lose that main source of healing. It's the first heal that you're going to get. And Twice Crispy is just a menace in this backline right now. Just taking tanks out. Get the Helix on the Reldnak from iWormbot. They're just dismantling this team right now. And this is what we were hoping for. We're hoping for this type of play, and Junkertown really bringing it out in them.
Yeah, this is already just a completely different team that we saw in the previous round. They're looking coordinated. They've come out with a smart composition that OverEZ were not ready for, and they are just pushing and pushing and pushing. Happy's happy just to stay out range here. Poke damage. Shield's going to be down here, but he's got the rock almost back online, ready to stun somebody coming through. Twice Crispy forced to recall, but has the pulse bomb a little bit wide there. Misses jump gate 17, who is, of course, the primary threat here for Twice Crispy. But Twice Crispy now back in the fold of their team, and Bad Babe Gabe finds the pick, but it's being very quickly evened out here. Jump Gate 17 finds one. We get the res online to bring iWormbot back into the fight. Jump Gate 17, though. A real threat here on the McCree, continuing to find picks. There's the third one. iWormbot down. Jump Gate 17 currently snoozing at the back of the payload here, whilst Happy is trying to close the distance and get this payload over the line, but it's not looking like it's going to happen whilst we've got some kills coming through here from Experimental. The main front line, OverEZ, is back, standing proud and ready to fight them back, and Happy is getting dangerously low here.
Happy will be fine, though. They still have their Ana around, and of course it's plenty of healing when you get that going. They've got some ultimates in the bank too. They're going to start with that Supercharger.
Ooh, Supercharger with the composition they've got here is really, really dangerous for OverEZ, particularly because Experimental and iWormbot will have the ultimate online ready to go to combo. Jumpgate 17 went to pull out the high noon, but the sound barrier will prevent any of that. Sorry, stop that coming through. Twice Crispy finds one with the force bomb here. iWormbot holds on to the tactical visor for now. Got to wait until the next point comes through where they can get some more advantage from the high ground. A very quick second gravitic flux here from Happy. Throws it in with the immortality field. Saves those that were caught in it, but it does mean they are down at low health. This is still going to be a Reinhardt and a Baptiste desperately trying to hold on to this front line. iWormbot finally commits the tactical visor, finds one with it before going down, but the kills are here for Experi-Mental. We are just 2 meters away from being capped. Arizona Ron down, and there we are into point B.
Morzakin is really the linchpin in that entire composition right now. Every single time that Baptiste is up, they just still can just stand there and keep being healed over the immortality field, regenerative burst, and just the right clicks that come out from that Baptiste. So every single time they can take them down, it's a really good place to go. And that's already Morzakin down early now.
Shadow gets committed, but I think that went into Happy's shield. So that is the ultimate committed with not a huge amount of value. Instead, it's going to be down to the DPS line here from OverEZ to start to turn the tides. As Bad Game Babe and Jumpgate 17 find one apiece. It's a flashbang and a fan the hammer and a second fan the hammer for good measure. Quite the breeze being stirred over here by Jumpgate 17.
Jumpgate 17 want to get some redemption because they already had their first high noon and didn't get anything. It was the first high noon and also didn't get any value in the first place of the course of the series so far. But Jumpgate 17 leading up to another one. We do have Twice Crispy on the flank if they've been doing very well of. They just need to get another pulse bomb off. They got one last time onto that Hanzo, but maybe not this time. We'll see.
Oh, there it is. Big stick, nice, and that's going to be Arizona Ron down. Looking to get a second here, but toe-to-toe with the Hanzo is dangerous because that's one shot, one kill, even though no Widowmaker on the field. Nice dive comes through there from Mason, and iWormbot goes down. And that's going to be the hold here for OverEZ, and ultimately losing Arizona Ron was not that big an issue for them.
It didn't look like it. I mean, that Lucio was a beautiful stick on them. That meant that they didn't have the sound barrier ready. So you think maybe that's a cue to go for the critic flux or something like that, where you try and force out maybe the immortality field, and that's all they have. But unfortunately, you can get to that, and Twice Crispy just not able to get back into the flank.
All right, well, we're going to start things off big here with the supercharger from Amethysia. So far, though, not a lot of damage coming through, and Jumpgate 17 takes it out of commission as the high noon finds iWormbot, and now we've got the flux committed into the sound barrier, and with already 2 players down, I'm feeling like that they may want to wind the clock back on a little bit, because nothing out of that one.
On the other hand, you also, at some point, you need to make a move. You can't just stand there and try and find value, and Happy switching over to the Zarya now as well, so might as well try, get some value. With the quicker respawns, it could have worked out. Now they're going to be running into 2 DPS ultimates on one side, which is a big Dragon Strike that can just go through this high ground if they push there. And then a High Noon as well, even as a cleanup ultimate. But they have their own Tac Visor and Nano, so they could find some value of their own.
That is a deep charge from Amethysia, but comes up trumps. Finds the bit on the Bad Babe Gabe, but the Nano boost was just not enough to keep Amethysia aligned. However, as the team splits, Twice Crispy is able to find the pick here, and iWormbot finally finds some room to put the tactical visor in, and it's a good one. Morzakin down, Mason demeched, and they may be in the final 25 seconds of the fight here, but Experi-Mental are finally starting to move forward through B.
As suicidal as that charge from Amethysia may have been perceived, Bad Babe Gabe didn't get their Dragon Strike off because of it. They were mid-cast, and then all of a sudden there's a Reinhardt in their face. That's really all you need to not all die in that upstairs area. Now we will see one more push, one more defense here for the second checkpoint. Are they going to get it, yes or no?
This is big, though. Jumpgate 17 on the high ground, making a slow rotation to line this up. Has the high noon. 3 in his sights, and 3 down. Suddenly a fight that they were low-handed in has been flipped on its head, and Happy is going to be the only member left from Experi-Mental. That was a heroic play from Jumpgate 17.
It's the Jumpgate 17 special. They come in from an unexpected angle, maybe an angle that should be expected, but it definitely wasn't. And they just get 2 or 3 kills with High Noon every single time. Only one of them did not really get a lot of value, but this one definitely did. Cleaned up that fight before it even started, and now I have a very clear win condition. It's not not impossible to get there. You need to almost get to checkpoint B. You will have one Junkertown, put yourself in a 2-0 lead, and OverEZ. I mean, they've shown so far they probably have what it takes, but Junkertown is one of those maps where I wouldn't say anything can happen, but it's definitely a map that is less predictable than any of the others, and a first point hold is very possible.
Ready for battle.
I think the problem possibly here for Experi-Mental, and I'm just spitballing, I'll admit I'm not the smartest man in the world. Experi-Mental initially came out with what was a very, very good lineup, specifically to counter what OverEZ were running. OverEZ just couldn't get any follow-up damage. And then once that comp lost its effectiveness after OverEZ had swapped, they didn't move quick enough to get off it. Like the swap from Happy over onto the Zarya instead, I think, great, probably a lot of value in that. But they swapped so late that they couldn't get a Graviton Surge online, and so they just couldn't start to snowball that momentum. I'd love to see a little bit more flexibility from Experi-Mental if they're forced to give up this defense.
So it's not necessarily, but that's not even the flexibility, right, Phil? That's just the urgency of acting on it. So if you need to switch, you just need to realize it a little bit sooner. We'll see if they will. That adaptability is what we always talk about, and I'm sure they have someone in the back. They already did a lot better than they're in control, so we'll see if they to perpetuate that statement, that sentiment. So far, it's a 1-for-1. Both teams look like DPS. They'll both have a relatively ranged hit scan in the pocket still. Jump gets 17 on the high ground, still shooting away.
Ooh, Twice Crispy gets the better of them there, though. Experi-Mental are running the, oh great, don't worry, I didn't want to win this ranked game anyway, special of a tank line comprising a Hog and a Diva. A lot of damage, but not a lot of protection for the rest of the team. Early shatter out from Rednauk, and Bad Babe Gabe is happy just to come in and follow up. Find some supports, not even bothering with the little baby Diva there, just eyes only for a dead fish. Still, even at this range, trying to get a dead fish, and an explosive start here from OverEZ.
It really is. It kind of comes down to what you were saying, but that tank line, having that Diva and that Roadhog, the biggest problem with it is you're so open to CC. Like, there's nothing you can shield. You can't shield the follow-up. It just comes at you, and that shatter just closed everything down. Now we are seeing Bad Gabe in that Reaper form at the moment, something we haven't seen before. But so far they are just being a good distraction, not necessarily a useless distraction. They're just making sure the enemy's attention is divided in a very constructive way.
I like this early whole hog from Happy. Keeps Mason out of the fight for a little while at least. Some splash damage through there onto the rest of it OverEZ, but no kills, and you were really hoping for kills here. Instead, into the back goes the self-destruct, and Nizzle goes down. The 5v6 is going to be down to Happy here to try and get something to equalize. Instead, it's going to be a dead fish that finds that with the res coming online. Bad Babe Gabe. That's a hard one to say, Maniclass. Has now the Death Blossom ready to go. Looks to be struggling a little bit to get the teleport off. At this rate, I don't know that they're going to need this Death Blossom. Sound Barrier counteracts the tactical goggles. And now it's just the supports left here. No need for any more ults. That payload rolls slowly and confidently into the golden box of victory. And Reinhardt can't even touch. OverEZ move to match point. Just one more map required, and they will be the winner of the series.
Play of the game.
Okay, let's get that high noon from Jump Gate 17 again. We know exactly which is one this is going to be. Overtime, second checkpoint. You see how much opportunity there is for Jump Gate to be spotted out, but it just doesn't happen. Even after that shatter, no one realizes, oh, there's a McCree behind us. And that just gets so much value. It really makes you think of those early days of Overwatch when 90% of the player base didn't understand who McCree was yet. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes you just get, but it is happening a bit too consistently for it to be just a good play anymore. At this point, we really do need to look at Experi-Mental and say, maybe you should see them coming every now and then. You can at least, if you all track a little bit, it's online, and then it's been doing it the past 5 times. So just watch the flanks a little. It doesn't take a lot to counter a high noon in a lot of ways, or at least not get a triple kill out of it.
Yeah, there's a concept in Overwatch. If you're playing in a Sombra heavy meta of Sombra checking, you assign your Diva to randomly spray over the map to try and find the Sombra. And you can do this with pretty much anyone, but rather than spraying, you go, I haven't seen character X for 20 seconds. What could that possibly mean about where character X is. And if it's a McCree, 9 times out of 10, they are behind you looking to get a 6k high noon, in my experience anyway.
It's really one of those situations where you're looking at the rest of your team, and everyone's going to be looking at each other, being like, "Why did no one say anything? Why did no one see them?" And then you got to look inwards and say, "Why didn't I see them?" You know, don't always blame it on your teammates, people.
Yeah.
This is a little advice for your ranked and quick play games. Blame it on your friends or your random teammates, and more so, these people, they also cannot always blame it on each other. Sometimes they need to own up to their own mistakes, to their own shortcomings, and then practice for them on the next go. That being said, Hybrid is coming up. It looks like they're going to go to Hollywood. I think we're just going to go straight into it, Phil. A 2-0 for OverEZ.
Starting to miss King's Row now, Classy. It's been so long since we've seen it.
I
Why does
know.
nobody
Well, we
pick King's Row anymore? Oh, you did?
We had it last week, but you weren't there, so
Yeah,
unfortunate for you. But yeah, no, it's been a while. It's good.
No, it's good. Yeah, Hollywood. Do you know, I was actually just thinking weirdly today. It's been a while since I feel like I've had to play on Hollywood, and I actually really like Hollywood as a map. It's got a nice bit of variety. It feels like a classic map. So at the very least, I'm glad that I get to see it played here today. And OverEZ are going to be starting on the defense again, so they really want to dictate the speed of this series. If they can manage a good hold here, then we could be in for a very quick evening of Overwatch overall.
It very well could be. I mean, so far it's definitely looking like it. OverEZ is just having that having their day today, and Experi-Mental might just not. But there's always the opportunity for either of the teams to be, you know what, today we're gonna adapt, and it's gonna be a complete switch over. And Hollywood is definitely one of those maps where you can do that. Once again, it's a very unique hybrid map in a lot of ways. It has a lot of, I wouldn't say Gibraltar-esque vibes where you have all those high grounds. It's like kind of like a two-tiered map. It's not quite like that, but it has some of that variety. And because it's one of those original maps, it has really an original flow, a unique flow to it that the other maps do not have. In a lot of ways, that is what makes this map so fun to play. You know, that flow from first to second and to third. It's very different than you have in all these other hybrid and even in escort maps. And a lot of teams still find new ways to exploit that, or still find out how it actually works instead of what they thought it was. So it's a map full of surprises a lot of times.
And I will just say, for those of you watching at home, that opening shot there of staring directly into a camera, if you can imagine a really bright light above that, that is a lot of what casting looks like, because I am just staring into a camera with a bright light next to it, bringing you all of this action. So a little behind the scenes there, care of our observer Ben. Thank you very much. And no surprises here from OverEZ. This is pretty much what they've been running most of the day, and it's been working for them. Let's give them that much.
There's no reason to switch anything up for them, but we're going to see some switches coming out from the attack. It looks like Wormbot actually leaving spawn on that Symmetra. They're still in there. They're going trade. No, that's fine. Squishy was still in there. Wormbot is leaving on that Symmetra. They're going to have to fight Squishy, take a different angle. So I don't know where they're going to teleport, but they are going to teleport. And it looks like they want to go high grounds.
Yeah, okay. You normally go right-hand side of this car and set up on the stairs on the left there, but instead they want to go straight up onto the high ground. But they've then abandoned that. Was that then a bit of a red herring? No, they just took the time and a little bit slow on the expression of that one, allowing Bad Babe Gabe to find a pick, and instead we just get a bit of a poke at the choke here, Classy.
Yeah, they want Twice Crispy to be there. They clearly have some sort of idea what Twice Crispy needs to do, so that they can actually teleport in. They're going to try a different angle this time around. No, Twice Crispy again gets shot down by one of the other DPS. This is not a good map for the Tracer so far.
No, and this is already a minute off the clock here as well, so only 3 minutes left for Experi-Mental to find something to do here. And yes, they're charging ultimates, but at the same time, so are OverEZ, and arguably at a faster rate in a lot of instances. So I mean, look, we've already got the Dragon online. You just afford to throw that one away here. Mason's going to find Happy, and yes, Roadknack does get a little bit of sleep there. I think we might have got some progress there on going through the TP. But no, it's just not working out for them. Experi-Mental, with so much time off the clock already, they've got to think about swapping something up here.
It's all about those first picks. Those first picks keep happening at a very inopportune moment after they're kind of waiting around for a long time. It's been a very staggered attack so far. Twice is actually in this time around, is not being chased. Good chase to get that health back, honestly, but just is going to try and find this angle now from the other side. They're at least going for a flank. That could work out, but the Shatter's good.
Yeah, big one. 2 kills on the back of it. Bad Babe Gabe finds a dead fish. Wall comes up to cut off the escape. That was as far as they have made it so far. A much better push here, but the next time they do that, they've got to come into High Noon, Self-Destruct, Sound Barrier, Amplification Matrix. Like, it's not gonna be fun.
They've got almost everything themselves, aside from that May ultimate that, of course, just came in since Immortal only recently swapped. Ooh, Twice Crispy almost going down there. Will just get shot down by Babe Gabe again.
Oh, no! Oh, Mason with the double at the 92nd mark, and the supercharger goes down as well here. Amethysia only just getting that one line with more than half of the time on the clock expired. Wall's going to come out here from iWormbot. Twice Crispy finds a stick with a force bomb and finds the opening frag here. But look how far up OverEZ are pushed. Look how little they care about the pick advantages / disadvantages. They're still coming in and finding kills. Relnak possibly getting a little bit frustrated here, just getting chain frozen again and again and again, but has the Shatter online. Twice Crispy finds Morzakin. Relnak charges out of the Blizzard, now has another race to go, see if he's coming in. Drops the hammer, hits one, and now slept in a dangerous position. Low HP, not a lot of chance to get that healed back up. Bad Babe Gabe playing up at 0 distance from the enemy. May iWormbot down to that flashbang kill from Jumpgate 17. I'm out of breath, and Experi-Mental are nearly out of time.
They seem to not be realizing when Bad Babe Gabe or Jumpgate are in a position to take them out. iWormbot and Twice Crispy are. It's a very interesting dynamic they've had. You see, they're just walking in. That flank control is so lacking at the moment. It's really a problem.
Yeah, McCree, not your typical flanker in that sort of sense of the word. And at the 10-second mark, they lose the main tank. Amethysia is down. The Nano goes out in a panic onto iWormbot. Does not have the high burst damage you really want to see kills coming through quickly on the back of it. And nobody can touch. That is a shutout here on Hollywood.
It's 33.3% and you're done. We'll have a 3-0. It's maybe not what we were expecting, but then again, we didn't really know what to expect in a lot of ways when we came into this. Just because of the lack of history between these teams, we haven't really seen a lot of footage from them. But this is definitely not what I was expecting coming into this today. Even with the limited information I had, I was expecting a little bit more of a challenge. But unfortunately, OverEZ is just playing very well today, and they're not dropping anything. They're not dropping anything that you really that you can really pick up if you're Experi-Mental currently kind of battling themselves, it feels.
Unfortunately, that does seem to be the case. They will get a shot at the defense now, and of course, a full shutout, a draw here on Hollywood is not outside the realm of possibility. Looking at what they've got lineup-wise, you know, the double shield, the heavily defensive Torbjorn, the res, the immortality, like they are set up for a good defense here. I think, though, a lot of it is going to come down to, on an individual level, can the DPS win out the matchups on the 1v1s? Can the tanks do the same? And so far, for Experi-Mental, they've not been able to do that. One more chance to get this right. Otherwise, it is the end of the series and very nearly the end of the broadcast for today. We're speedrunning it today, Classy.
We really are. And, you know, I didn't know we were on gamesdonequick.com today, but we're not. We're right here. It's going to be CEA trying to elongate this production and this broadcast for a little bit longer. Experi-Mental doing their very best. Amethysia already going ridiculously low, though.
Jumpgate has just been such a monster, really, on this McCree. Makes the rotation around the back all the way, lands the dinks, nearly gets Nizzle out of the fight. It looks like this may go the way of Experi-Mental on the first push, but Arizona Ron will find a pick. By the time this is all coming through... No, okay. Relnak able to find one pick there. Lands the Shatter. Shatter takes out the turret. Relnak keeps on swinging through, finds Amethysia. Twice Crispy is going to find Bad Babe Gabe, but that was a sucker there of a charge. Takes Happy in, squashes him down, takes him out of the fight, and I thought this was done the second we saw the first pick come through, but OverEZ, they just put on full bully mode here, rush their way onto the point and start to gain control. Flash, fan the hammer, And it is one lowly Moira on the point trying to hold this out, but the speed run is complete. Classy, we're going to have an evening to fill after this. What are you going to do with your time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Actually play the game for a change, maybe? I
Oh,
don't
maybe.
know. I really don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we're gonna go for. For now, though, it was very impressive. I think it was just a lot of impressive composure and target focus coming out from OverEZ. They really just set themselves up for the win the way they played around with things. That even if you can put Bad Babe Gabe in that situation, Jumpgate constantly on the flanks on their own, and then the rest of the team, especially that core of Relnek and Mason, just able to focus down targets with their supports. You really just are fighting multiple battles in a very efficient way. And unfortunately, Experi-Mental couldn't put up a similar performance. No anti-flanks, no flanks of their own that were really working out. Twice Crispy really did their best on that Tracer. It was almost working out in a lot of situations, but they just couldn't get enough value out of the rest of the team, unfortunately. OverEZ just looking a little bit better today.
Unfortunately, that's the case. Hopefully, all of our players at least enjoyed that match. And just one key piece of information that has just come through: confirmation that Arizona Run is not actually from Arizona. So, some stolen valor there from Arizona, I feel, from one of the players of OverEZ.
Maybe they like the green tea. I don't know. Maybe that's what it's about. Maybe, I don't know. There'll probably be some explanation for it. We can ask what the inspiration is when we get a player in for the interview, which hopefully we will do. But before we can do that, we have to take a really quick break, make sure that everyone is actually in the lobby and can talk to us. And I will be right back with you in a few minutes.
Welcome back, everybody, and here we are with my favorite part of the broadcast, the interview. And joining us this week, it's Amethysia from Experi-Mental and Reldnak from OverEZ. So both of you, welcome to the channel. Reldnak, congratulations on that win. Amethysia, commiserations on the loss. Reldnak, starting with you, how do you feel on the back of that win?
I mean, it felt great. We've been trying to play together a little bit more, take it a little bit more seriously, just to get our team comp down a little bit more. And I don't know, it felt like we really clicked on that one, so felt good.
Yeah, you guys were looking like a well-oiled machine. So, Amethysia, you guys were the victors last time, so it's one apiece. What's changed in that week? Do you think that in those couple of weeks since you last played these guys? Because we were expecting this to be significantly closer than it was.
Right. Well, we've been kind of changing up the game a lot. I know we've actually midway we switched normally because I'll play tank or DPS. I know at the beginning I was doing DPS and we switched to tank, and it's just been kind of we're trying to get a feel. I know last week or the week before that a couple of us were out, so it's been kind of a challenge to get everyone again to practice all together.
It sounds like at some point soon we're going to have to give you both like a dedicated period of practice so you can come back and have the final decider match between the two of you.
Possibly.
Yeah, derbies
down.
are always fun. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, it's if you set it up. We just come and cast it. That's how we do. That being said, obviously today was like the complete opposite result of the last time. A lot of things happened. What I'm really curious about is we talked a little bit about it on cast at some point. The high noons were getting a lot of value today. I mean, from both your perspectives, how was that like going into it? Were you like surprised that it was happening, or like how did that go?
I guess from our perspective, we were actually kind of playing around that a bit. I was like, when there were a couple times where I was basically talking to him on when I had shatter timing on Ryan, where I was just like, if the shield drops, I'm going. This is your I'm gonna try and open it up for you. We had a couple times where it worked out pretty well. So
I will say, oh sorry, I apologize. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, so for sure, for me at least, the high noons were a little bamboozling because I had shattered and I was like, "Where's my teammates?" And then suddenly I hear like everyone's like, "No," and I'm like, "Wait, what happened?" And then I see the playback. I'm like, "Oh no!" So yeah, the one high noon on Junkertown, I was like,
Yeah.
"Dang, that was good." Cry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's frustrating
Yeah.
to be like, oh no, that was such a good play, but also, damn, that was such a good play. Yeah, difficult position to be
Exactly.
in. So
Mhm.
yeah, unfortunately for both of you guys, you're out of the running for playoffs, and so we're here sort of for fun and for publicity and to publicize your charity. So first off, for both of you guys, it's been a little bit in and out of CEA over the past year or so. Maybe we can get you to tell us a little bit about what your companies do and how you guys came together as a team. So if we throw that to you first, Rodnak.
Okay. Yeah, so Ezoic, we're a optimization platform for web publishers. So everything from optimizing ad revenue, site speed, UI in certain areas, things like that. Basically anything we can come up with to help. But yeah, so we have some systems in place that we have like perk money for our office that when we hit like revenue goals and stuff, everyone gets. So one of the things we've been doing with that is using it for like the CEA fees to
Oh,
get in. Yeah, so like every time it comes around, we've been sending in a message being like, "Hey guys, the next season's gonna start. If we have people for one of the games and have enough people that have an interest, we throw it in." And yeah, I think we started probably like I think this is like the third season we've done.
hmm.
But yeah, so we're doing it for the San Diego Zoo is one that we've done it for a lot. We're based out of Carlsbad, California, just a little bit
Oh, right.
north of
Near the caverns.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah, so yeah, we're just doing it for fun, and it's good that the money goes to some charity, even if we don't win it all for the zoo.
Yeah, I think all of the charities nominated tend to be pretty worthwhile charities. So at least it's going somewhere good. And for yourself, Amethysia, tell us a little bit about what your company does, how you got together as a team, and then a little bit about your charity.
All right. Well, I work for Experis. We are quality assurance testers. I'm not sure what else I can really say about that,
Okay,
but
you
other
don't have to. It's you tell as much or as little as you feel comfortable with.
totally. But yeah, for our team, we kind of came together because a couple of us are on the same team. Some of us just know each other through work. Obviously, before the pandemic, quite a few of us like knew each other, and we all just kind of like all came together. And Tim Olivant, I think that's how you say his last name. I apologize if I butchered that. He was saying or he was gathering some folks for the league, and I was like, oh, I like Overwatch, why not? And so, for our charity, we're doing the National Center for Heart Disease, and that one's kind of neat because I think I'm not quite sure what we did before, but I do know one time we did the one for I always want to call it the Tree Lawn Musk Foundation, but like it was I think one year they did trees, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. But yeah, for the heart disease, that one was really neat because I think they said 3 of our subs actually have had to benefit from that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was like, oh wow, goodness. At least familial. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So at least it affects them in that way. So I thought that was really neat. And like Reld had said, I was like, yeah, like especially since the money goes towards that, like that's awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Great to have a charity nominated that you all feel you have a pretty good connection with.
Hmm. And I apologize if I didn't answer like how we came together as a team. I was like, wait, I think I forgot something. But yeah, I honestly like we kind of came together in such an odd way because like we all, for the most part, know each other. I've worked with Fish, and then and I actually work with Dan at the moment, so it's kind of neat.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great. Well, guys, I think that brings us fairly neatly to the end of the interview portion. What we like to do at the end here is just to give you both a chance to make any shout outs that you might want to make. So, it's Amethysia, anybody that you'd like to give a thank to or a shout out to?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, obviously my team, like they're working really hard. I know some of them are pushing because of like deadlines and whatnot. But I will say two definite shout outs for Overwatch actually. My friend Brian, who I met through Overwatch, and my other friend Para. I believe, and I hate butchering people's names, but I think his name is Paramjit. And like both of them have been amazing people who have played Overwatch with me for quite a long time, and they've been really cool friends for just through the game, and they're awesome.
That's great. Are they going to be watching today? Are they in chat right now?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. Well,
With you.
hopefully they get to see the VOD and they can hear your kind words. And Reldnak, same proposition to you. Anybody you'd like to give a thank to or a shout out to?
Yeah, I mean, of course, my team, everyone, giving up parts of their Saturday to play with us, as well as like practicing here and there throughout the week, just to try and have at least a little bit better chance for our scrub selves to have some good matches. But and I guess also, I guess a bit of a special shout out to Lee, or Smarmy McSmugass from our Valorant team. He's the one who originally like brought the CEA stuff to us, telling us about it and everything, like 3 seasons ago or whenever we started doing it. So he's helped with a lot of the organization of getting us on here to play. So yeah, and I guess just generally to the other everyone who decided to watch, we posted in our like Slack channel and stuff to anyone from our company that wanted to watch us go. So I'm glad we could give them a good show.
Yeah, hopefully they turned up and got to watch that, because all else failing, it was a very entertaining match to watch. So both of you, thank you very much both for playing today and for coming and telling us a little bit more about yourself and answering our invasive questions.
Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, thanks. Shot.
And for everybody else watching, that is, of course, the end of the broadcast. So myself and Man of Class are going to go figure out what to do with an evening free ahead of us. Man of Class, before we go, anything you'd like to say to round out the broadcast?
Look, sometimes you have a marathon evening, sometimes you have a sprint, but whatever happens, it's always fun at CEA with you, Phil.
Very kind. Yeah, absolutely the truth. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for more CEA Overwatch action.